This holiday season is a great time to get out in the community and explore some of Michigan's local history. You can do that right here in the Detroit area where we originate our broadcast at the Detroit Historical Society. And joining us now to talk about some of the great programs this holiday season is Rebecca Salminen-Witt. Rebecca, thanks for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, so happy to be with you.
Yeah, glad to have you back on the show. And one of the great events that comes around this time of the year at the Detroit Historical Society is your Hudson Holidays exhibit. It's coming in this holiday season with free admission on a couple of days as well. Tell us about Hudson Holidays and when people can come by and explore it for free.
Well, Hudson's Holidays, in the Detroit area and even beyond the Detroit area, I think almost everybody has a happy memory of shopping at Hudson's during the holidays. And so we happen to have about 1 million artifacts of from Hudson's in our collections. And so we thought, what better way to bring back the nostalgia of the whole holiday season for everybody than to do an exhibit of our sort of beloved old department store. And so this year, Hudson's Holidays is back, and it's an all new exhibition. It's in a single gallery this year. So, for those of you who might have visited in prior or last year, I guess, and seen it in vignettes all throughout the museum, we've made it a little bit easier for everybody this year. It's in one exhibit space right off the Gallery of Culture. It's really spectacular. When you walk in, you immediately have that grand feeling of entering Hudson's that everybody remembers. So we're really excited to have it back. And like you said, we are open free on Sundays for the next 2 weeks. So we're open this Sunday, the 11th, and also Sunday, the 18th at the Detroit Historical Museum, 1 to 5, free for everybody. You don't even need to register. You just kind of come on in.
You can find more information on exhibitions, programs, events, and more at both the Detroit Historical Museum and the Dawson Great Lakes Museum, as well as other programs through the Detroit Historical Society by visiting their website, detroithistorical.org. Detroithistorical.org. In addition to Hudson Holidays, plenty of other great exhibits already ongoing and coming in to the Detroit Historical Museum, as well as the Dawson Great Lakes Museum in the coming weeks and months. Rebecca, what's in the museum right now? If people want to explore, especially if they're going to plan a day out for one of these free Sundays to go enjoy the Detroit Historical Museum.
Well, we've really worked hard this year to bring a bunch of new stuff in that appeals to everybody, really. So we've got something for every single person. So on the second floor at the Historical Museum right now, and through February 10th, I think, we've got 1997, the Detroit Red Wings celebrating their historic Stanley Cup win in 1997. Really fun exhibit. It fills an entire gallery. It fills the Gallery of Culture. We've got Steve Eiserman's original uniform. So if you remember the captain back in the day, kind of entertaining us and thrilling the audiences with his, last minute goals and seemingly winning every single face off. That uniform is on display in the exhibit on the second floor at the Historical Museum. We've also opened 3 new exhibits just last weekend. So we've got 3 new exhibits. We're really excited about these. They were designed and built by students from Wayne State University. We have a great partnership with their history department over there. Those exhibits deal with women's suffrage, Detroit's fabulous movie palaces of old, and our famous Dally in the Alley, which happens just down the street from the Detroit Historical Society every fall. So those are really fun exhibits. They're colorful, they're meaningful, and something that everybody is going to want to take a look at.
You can find more information on all these different exhibits when they're going to be at the museum and what's involved in them by going to their website. As always, to find more information on programs, detroithistorical.org is the website. Detroithistorical.org is the place to go for more information. You also have some movies coming in too, featuring 2 screenings of a new holiday movie that was filmed at the historic Holly Hotel. Tell us about that movie and when people can see this particular film.
We're excited about that. I mean, who doesn't love a good Christmas movie, right? And so
Yeah.
I think we've all become accustomed to those Hallmark movies that seem to be inundating us on TV these days. Well, this is an opportunity to see that kind of movie, that feel good holiday movie, a rom com, a love story, right in a theater setting, which is a little different than seeing it on the small screen. So we're activating our theater at the Historical Museum. We're pretty excited about putting the theater back in full play after the pandemic, and like you said, we've got two screenings of Christmas at the Holiday at the Holly Hotel, and the first one is on December 16th. That's a Friday night, classic dinner and a movie, right? So you can come, buy a ticket, get some dinner beforehand, tour the museums, tour the streets of old Detroit, and then see the first screening of this movie in our theater later that evening. We're also going to have some cast and crew from the movie on hand that night, so you'll get to meet the movie stars, meet the producer of the movie. They're going to be joining us for dinner, and we'll do a question and answer session with the audience with those folks on that day as well. Those tickets are $125 each. The reason they are more is because we're offering dinner, but also this is a benefit for the Holly Hotel. You might remember the historic Holly Hotel caught fire last year, and they're in the process of rebuilding that hotel. And so we wanted to do something from our standpoint. You know, we love historic institutions across the state. And so we wanted to do everything we could to support the Holly Hotel. So this is a benefit for them. And they actually have a spot at the Holly Hotel, which we particularly love. It's called the Arcade. It was inspired by the streets of old Detroit. It's a historic installation right there at the hotel. And so these funds will help benefit the rebuilding of the arcade at the hotel. They'll also help rebuilding the streets of old Detroit. Some of you might remember we all had this big flood a year or so ago. The streets of old Detroit flooded during that time too, and we still have some renovation that's necessary from our flood. So kind of a twin benefit opportunity on December 16th. The movie will screen again on Sunday the 18th. This is a matinee. So, you know, the good old fashioned Sunday matinee that you might be remember. I remember always looking forward to going to see the cartoons on Sunday afternoon at our little movie theaters in the small towns where I grew up. And so we're recreating that experience for folks too. Those tickets are $10 for member, $20 for non-member. Again, another benefit for the Holly Hotel. So come on down and see the movie at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon if you're just wanting the matinee experience.
You can find more information on tickets as well as other programs ongoing and coming up in the future at the Detroit Historical Museum by visiting the Historical Society's website at detroithistorical.org. Detroithistorical.org is the place to go for all of that. We're joined by the Chief Strategy and Marketing Officer at the Detroit Historical Museum, Rebecca Salminen-Witt, on today's edition of the Megacast. In addition to, of course, the Detroit Historical Museum, there's always plenty to learn about a Great Lakes history at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum. Tell us about some of the exhibits that are ongoing there during this holiday season that people might want to explore.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned it because, you know, a little touch of maritime history at the holidays is always a great thing. Some of the permanent exhibits that you can see at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum, of course, the pilot house of the William Clay Ford, the freighter that left Safe Harbor when the Edmund Fitzgerald sank to try to save any surviving sailors. We have that pilot house as part of our museum. So you can go up there and I'll tell you, there's no place else that feels as much like you're driving a freighter than right there in our pilot house. So that's really fun. We also have a new version of our very popular maritime miniatures exhibit. Those are miniature models of ships throughout Great Lakes, sailing ships throughout the centuries. That was really popular last winter at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum, and so we've brought another version of that back. It's in the Robert M. Dawson Gallery in the museum, so it's all concentrated in one place. These amazing miniatures that are great for kids and adults. And you know, if you liked doll houses when you were a little girl, or you loved making models when you were a little boy, or if you were just one of those kids who loved Legos, all of those kind of really deep passions are accessed through this exhibition, and it's there now, and you can see it throughout the holiday season at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum. Dawson Great Lakes Museum also open for free on Sunday, December 11th and Sunday, December 18th. The Dawson has a few more open hours, so they're open from 10 to 5 on those days.
More information can be found on their website, DetroitHistorical.org. You can find all the info you need to know on the Detroit Historical Museum, plan your visit, find different events that are coming up and are ongoing, learn more about their exhibitions, see what you want to explore when you go to the Dawson Great Lakes Museum or to the Detroit Historical Museum, as well as get in contact with them for info on more programs and more, including membership. More information can be found at DetroitHistorical.org. Rebecca, before we let you go, I want to give you another couple minutes. Anything else that we haven't discussed that people should be keeping in mind this holiday season or even going forward about what's coming up through the Detroit Historical Society?
Well, we open about 8 to 10 new exhibitions at our museums every single year. And so I always like to remind people, if you haven't been to see us recently, you really have there's something new there to see. So even though we're a history organization, there's always something new to see at our museums. We've got these free days during the holidays, but if you want to access the museum for free anytime, it's a great opportunity to give some holiday memberships away. So our memberships are available. You can access those online. We've got great new member specific content that comes out every month on our new member portal. It's really a good time to invest in a membership for yourself or for your family. It's a wonderful opportunity to visit our museums for free anytime. And when you come, you'll find drop-in tours. We've got drop-in tours of the Hudson's Holidays over the holiday season, but we also have those throughout the year of different exhibits, especially when they're new. So really encourage people to come visit us more often. Get a taste of us over the holiday season, but come throughout the year because there's always something new to see.
And you can always find what that something new is on their website, DetroitHistorical.org. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me. Always great to be here.